around for 1,684 years. How long? 1,684 years. That's almost, we're coming up close to 2 millennia here. For 1,684 years, people, especially our people, have been suffering from a psychological impairment called Christmas. In fact, everybody read it. What does it say? To believe in Christmas is a form of mental illness. It is. Now, I'm not just saying that. I mean, medically speaking. To believe in Easter is a form of mental illness. Read it, y'all. To believe in anything or anyone that has no historical or archaeological evidence of its existence to the point of such a belief affecting one's behavior pattern and or conduct is a psychological impairment and is therefore, medically speaking, a form of mental illness.
Teach, teacher.
To believe something that you cannot validate.
That's right.
To believe something that there is no evidence for. No proof of any kind for it. Yet you believe it to the point to where you want to take off running around this room. Crying. Yeah! That's a form of mental illness, brothers and sisters. Now, and remember I told you, here, right here, Diagnostic Statistical Manual 4, Section 309.4. It's called adjustment disorder with mixed disturbance of emotions and conduct. That's the medical definition for it. Adjustment disorder with mixed disturbance of emotions and conduct. And that is, you know, when the doctors bill the insurance companies, they have to put a code in. That's the code right there. And the DSM number, and the DSM-4 309.4. Yeah, buddy. So, those of you who believe, let me go on. As a result of this psychological impairment, which was programmed into us by who? Euro-Gentile, Greco-Roman Catholic Church, the world now suffers from the most powerful psychopathology ever inflicted upon the human race. Y'all, look at this. What is meant by the term psychological impairment and psychopathology in their application to the seduction of holiday celebrations? A psychological impairment is characterized by a pattern, follow this now, by a pattern of persistently learning that which hinders or damages the spiritual, intellectual, and or emotional development of an individual, a human being. Resulting in, what y'all? A below normal, unhealthy, and unrealistic cognitive knowing or awareness function. Y'all don't mind this instruction today, do you? So I want y'all to understand this. The term psychopathology is the study of the origin, development, and manifestations of behaviors and experiences which may be indicative of mental illness or psychological impairment. Now, for example, here we go. Grab this carefully. The belief in or claims of a red-nosed reindeer may be considered as a psychopathological sign. Now, see, it's really deep here because y'all saying, oh, Brother Ray, we all know better than that. We all know better than that. Children don't. Little children don't. They make movies about Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and y'all take your children to see it. You need to be hit in the head with a pillow. You need to be hit in the head with a rubber bat. You need to be hit in the head with a metal feather. Because you are shaping your child's mind with that foolishness. Have them singing, Rudolph red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose. Now, come on, let's be honest. How many of y'all sang it? How many of y'all, see? All of us, right? The belief in a jolly fat man in a red suit who rides through the night sky in his sleigh being pulled by flying reindeer, landing on rooftops, and squeezing himself down chimneys less than 12 inches in diameter. And don't ever get his suit dirty. And delivering gifts to children who did not pout or cry and were not naughty but nice. Belief in that may be considered as a psychopathological sign. Are y'all grabbing what I'm saying? Y'all know how many children honestly believe that somebody's gonna come land on their roof in a sleigh with reindeer? I remember the first time I taught this message in this church. Some folk got highly upset with me. I mean, got upset. Wanted to leave, man. Why you gonna take Christmas from the children? Harm in that. Whenever listen, you know what I found out, y'all? Our children, follow this. Our children, you had the capacity to learn while you were still in your mother's womb. That's why I tell pregnant women, read to your unborn child. Talk to it. Massage it. Because you are feeding its intellect already. A little baby ain't got no business saying baba. The word is bottle. You want your baba? If they can understand baba, they can understand bottle. Y'all understand what I'm saying? Ooh, buddy. We contribute to our own craziness, man. The belief in bunny rabbits laying eggs. Look at somebody and say, rabbits don't lay eggs. Think about that, Easter time. Do we really think about the fact that rabbits don't lay eggs? What rabbits got to do with eggs? You don't understand the spirit here. You don't understand the spirit of sexual looseness through the Easter celebration. Why you say that, brother? My son loved going for an Easter egg hunt. You don't understand the spirit behind the Easter egg hunt. You see, you got to understand, man, the Europeans would celebrate the vernal equinox. And what they do is they take their women and strip them naked and paint them different colors and let them go hide in the forest. And then the men would go find these women that were painted in different colors. And whatever woman they found, they had sex with them. That's where the origin of the Easter egg hunt come from. You got your baby out hunting for eggs. Not understanding the spirit behind this thing, man. Don't let your child participate in that sadistic pagan activity.
That's right.
Can I go deeper with this? Now I'm asking y'all, I'm asking you now. Can I go deeper? You know what I love? I love how y'all ask, can I go deeper? When I ask, can I go deeper, y'all say, yeah. You know? And then when I go deeper, you can't take it. So I'm asking you again, can I go deeper? All right, here we go. The belief in a little white virgin-born child, wrapped in swaddling clothes, whose birth summons the journey of kings and so-called wise men from the Far East who traveled more than 5,000 miles on camelback in a couple of days, can certainly be considered a pathological sign, psychopathological sign. How you gonna travel on camelback from China to Egypt in 2 days. But see, we weren't thinking, y'all. Y'all all right? Now it's deep because, see, when I was telling my Rudolph, y'all was all right. See? When I talked about Santa Claus trying to get down a chimney, you laughed at that. But I see some faces frowning a little bit now. But that's okay. I asked you, could I go deeper? Y'all said yes. Hold up your circle if you need to. In fact, if you need to get a hula hoop and hold it up. Get a hula hoop and hold it up. Okay? Read what this says, y'all. What does it say? The most powerful psychopathology is the belief in something simply because you want it to exist. That's my warfare right there. I'm trying to reach people who want the lie. That's right. They want it bad, brother. They want it bad. They want the lie. And see the cognitive dissonance on his face? You know, when I'm trying to reach people, that's the look I see on brothers and sisters' faces. And after it's all over, you know, they say, brother, I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying, and I understand what you're saying. But I choose to believe that Jesus died for my sin. I choose to believe that. And when a person says that, you step back and say, well, the rest is up to God now. But there's one thing I know for sure. When I step back, you cannot unhear what you heard. Okay? To understand the subliminal seduction of holiday celebrations, you must understand that the programmers induced the belief in a lie. Grab this. They induced the belief in a lie and then glorified and glamorized the lie in such a way that it would create within us a desire for its existence. Y'all getting this? I made up a lie. Now I'm going to glorify that lie. And I'm going to glamorize it. Right after, the very next day after Thanksgiving, all they going to start playing on the radio. You know, I'm dreaming of a white Christmas. What's that one? Are you listening? Giving this song, singing this song, dancing in the winter wonderland. Only part I know is winter wonderland. You know? Chestnuts roasting on an open fire, Jack Frost nipping at your nose, Yuletide songs being sung by a choir. Make a CD, huh? Make some money to support the ministry, huh? My neighbor was putting up his lights. He's having a problem putting up. I said, brother, you getting ready to give all that money to Amber and you eat. All that money to Amber and you eat. And it's deep because both of them put up their lights and then they step back across the street all the way to my house. Looking at the lights. One of them said, Brother Ray, you ain't putting up no lights. I said, brother, I don't do that. I don't do that. And I think the way I said it, they didn't even go any further with it. I don't do that, man. They glamorize this thing so, you know, it's like, wow. Now, people want the Christ Mass of the Roman Catholic Church. They want it to exist. In fact, you know what, y'all? They need for it to exist because their psychopathology demands it. It's almost like a drug addict. You were given this drug from birth, and now you long for it. Children get angry with you, parents, if you don't allow them to participate in it and make you feel like you've done something wrong. Mommy, why not? Everybody, all the other children doing it, mommy. The demand for its existence is so great that many people have absolutely no idea what they would do if it didn't exist. Therefore, they will do whatever they have to do to maintain the existence of their own psychopathology. Are y'all grabbing this? Y'all see this? You see what I have to deal with, y'all, as a liberator? As a liberator, as a mind physician. I got to deal with people who want to be crazy. As a result, those who do not suffer from this psychological impairment or have this psychopathology, meaning those of you who know better, those of us who know better, guess what, y'all? We're cast aside, we're shunned, we're criticized, or outright attacked by those who are crazy. They say, we're crazy because you're thinking. A state of war is going on here between those who are psychopathic against those who want to free their African minds. For several thousand years, this midwinter time has been a time of celebration from people of who? Of the northern hemisphere. Now, why is that? Why is that? Because, you see, in the northern hemisphere, this time of the year, y'all, it starts getting dark real early. You see? And the reason why it starts getting dark real early is because the earth is twisting on its axis, but it makes it look like the sun is moving. Sun ain't never moved. Sun is right where it has always been. Okay? But the people from the northern hemisphere don't understand the science of the earth's movement. You follow me? So when the earth, kind of shifts on its axis and what have you, it puts the sun in a different position, it seems. So what happens is now it gets dark earlier and the nights get longer. Are y'all following what I'm saying? Well, the further this gets into the month of December, the darker it gets earlier in the day. So when you're up in the north, like maybe up in Alaska, way up in the north right now, you might not see daylight for another 15, 20 days. Am I making sense? Okay, so the people in the northern hemisphere, what happened is it seemed like the sun was getting further and further away and darkness was lasting longer and it's cold up there. So the people of the northern hemisphere, meaning white folk, in case y'all didn't grab it, the white folk of the northern hemisphere, they started getting scared. God, the thing that's been giving us life, the thing that's been giving us heat, is leaving us. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? It's cold. No heat from the sun. We're going to freeze to death. We're going to die. Because the sun has been giving us life, and it's leaving. Well, they didn't know that on December 21st, the sun seemingly stops moving away, and it stands still, so to say, for 3 days. In other words, the sun dies for 3 days. Did y'all get that? The Christians, the sun dies for 3 days, and on December 22nd, it starts its movement back north. And on December 25th, it was clear in everybody's mind that the sun is coming back. The sun, God's Son, is coming back again. That which gives us life is returning to us. So the people began to celebrate and rejoice. And these pagan celebrations became what is now called today Christmas. Because God's Son was born on December 25th. Does everybody understand this? Yeah. The Norse people of Scandinavia had a 12-day Yule celebration. Now, y'all heard of Yule tide before? As a tribute to the return of the sun. Fathers and sons would venture out and bring back large logs which they would burn. And families would feast until the logs smoldered out. So that's where that whole thing comes from. Yuletide celebration, burning the logs. In Rome, Saturnalia, the holiday of celebrating Saturn, took place. In the week leading up to the winter solstice, and the thing I just described, by the way, is the winter solstice. Romans would drink and feast. Slaves. They were so happy about this man that they let slaves free. They allowed the slaves to play the role of the masters and peasants to be in charge of everything. Businesses were closed to make sure everybody had fun. It was also during the winter solstice that the Romans observed, everybody said juvenilia, where we get our word juvenile from. Allowing this celebration for the children. And that's where the whole idea came from of Christmas being designed to give children gifts. So don't let your child be shaped by this pagan stuff. Looking for a gift. And some of y'all, you know what? I just got it in my spirit. Some of y'all done got the tree already. I just saw the tree in some of y'all's house. Some doggone it. I'm too late. I'm too late. I hear you, Brother Ray, you should have taught this last Sunday.